Who's driving this side?
As a military academy, Norwich's women's rugby squad has played other military teams before.
Norwich has the rugby reputation with those schools where we've beaten them in the past. We have a good competitive rivalry with West Point.
But their next game will be a new experience for everyone involved. On Friday afternoon, the cadets will test their mettle against the Australian Defence Force rugby side.
They're very tenacious. They're super aggressive, super strong. You can tell even in practice that they're doing full contact. They are super sharp when they tackle.
Set!
The Australian team is made up of members of each of Australia's armed forces, the Army, Navy, and Air Force. But despite being members of the military, many of the Australians are making their first visit to the United States.
It was a long journey over, but it was definitely well worth it. And first stop here in Vermont, look how beautiful these mountains are. We definitely don't get this back home, so it's been an absolute blessing as well.
The two sides have been holding joint practices this week ahead of the game, and the cadets think they can learn a lot from the Australian style of play.
This year we've had a lot of trouble getting like a cohesive offense together. It's been kind of like choppy and not really consistent, and I think if we can figure out how to just have a nice easy flow like they do and kind of spread the field wide, it'll help our game a lot.
What makes this experience valuable for both the Australian Defence Force and Norwich teams is not only what they can learn out on the pitch, but also the cultural understanding that they can learn from each other.
Definitely the language barrier. There's a lot of people kind of umming and ahhing as to what we're saying, and same goes. So kind of learning and feeding off each other with that regard is interesting.
They're pretty funny and animated, but kind of also we thought that they were going to be like our age. We thought it was kind of a military school thing in Australia, but it's like the real military. So that was kind of a shock. But other than that, it's been really fun, and they're like a nice group of girls to hang out with.
And that should prove valuable given the military cooperation and friendship between our two countries. Norwich and the Australian Defence Force will face off at 4:30 on Friday afternoon. In Northfield, Jack Fitzsimmons, Channel 3 Sports.